You're listening to Cards to the Moon, a podcast about trading cards from both a collector and investor perspective. We hope you'll stick around for the ride as we take a deep dive into the state of the hobby, share some hot takes, hopefully some useful advice, and fun stories along the way. Hey guys, welcome back to Cards to the Moon. This is episode 328, and my name is Clark from 5cardguys.com. You could also find me at 5cardguys on Instagram, Facebook, and on YouTube. Co-hosting with me, as usual, is Hyung, who is at Hyung on Instagram and YouTube as well. And John, you can find him at TradeU at Recess on IG. All right, off the top today, just want to really talk about our recent visit to the Sport Card Expo. It's an annual fall thing for us and an annual spring thing. It's twice a year, but we just came back from the November show and we all saw each other. We went on the same day, so that was great to go on the same day with Will and Roy, our other co-hosts that come on once a month. So yeah, general question for you guys. What would you say the vibes were like at Sport Card Expo this year? And did you buy or sell anything while you were there?
I thought the expo was great. It was bumping. There's a lot of people, which I expected, but I think once you got into the parking lot, it was like, oh man, this thing is rammed. But it's good that because the weather was obviously pretty crappy, so it's good that there was no waiting period, which I appreciate. I thought there was going to be kind of like, oh, we're going to be standing outside a bit, but there was nothing like that, which, you know, everybody could appreciate. But I thought that the show, it was a very successful show in general. I think just from an event standpoint, if you haven't been to an event, you could tell that the hobby is super alive. A lot of new collectors, a lot of old collectors. You see still the same booths up and running, so that side of the hobby is still bumping. But overall, I had a blast. I went there 2 days. I got to get a couple items certified by PSA, which I wanted to get authenticated, but I'd never wanted to ship it out. So it was a great time for me to drop the items off on the first day and then pick them up at the end of the show. So nice. That kind of, I guess, was the basis of why I personally went in my goals. And yeah, I ended up I didn't do many deals because I was looking for baseball. There are some cool stuff out there, but I didn't find anything in particular that, I was hunting for. But I did, I showed you guys, but I was with Will at Dolly's and we were just talking. And before I left, I just picked up a box of 2022 Topps Finest because I think they're underrated. Just the rookie class in general. You got Julio, Bobby Witt, even Cal Raleigh now, and then your O'Neal Cruzes and stuff like that. So there's a lot of hits, I think, still live. And I think Finest in general is underrated in 2022. So for me, I thought the ROI was good. Why not? When in Rome, sure. Get a box and rip. And I told Will, I was like, you know what? Cal Raleigh hype is real and there's a big chase and nobody's really looking at product you could still rip. And sure enough, I pulled the Cal Raleigh rookie crazy. Auto, which I was pumped.
That's crazy.
So yeah, it was a good overall experience for me. I was very pleased.
Nice. And you said you authenticated a couple items. You want to share what those were?
Yeah. So I have a couple memorabilia items that kind of had over the past few years. And one of them was a 3000 hit ball. So not obviously every person that's on the 3000 hit, but there's about 11 different signatures, Jeter being the highlight. And then you got guys like Wade Boggs, Ricky Henderson, who else? Eddie Murray, Paul Molitor. So it's a really cool piece for me. And I always wanted to get it authenticated because I think the Jeter was the only autograph that was authenticated. And to make it legit, especially in this market, I feel like memorabilia is picking up where it follows the same suit. People want PSA certification or the DNA certification or even Beckett or the authentication process. So I dropped off a couple of baseballs, and then I had a St. Louis Cardinals Hall of Fame baseball. So you got Stan Musial, Ozzie Smith, Lou Brock, Bob Gibson, So pretty cool pieces for me, just more of a PC item. So just got that authenticated, and yeah, that was kind of the plan, and yeah, it was great.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
That's awesome.
How about you, Johnny?
Oh man, I had a great time. I think this was the first time I went multiple days. So I went on Thursday evening when it started, and then I was able to go Friday. So it was great. I mean, I think it was a lot bigger. Like it's way bigger than I experienced before in terms of attendance.
Yeah.
Because I actually missed the last two expos, so I haven't gone in about, I guess, a year and a half. Um, but yeah, I mean, we joked around, but on Saturday, I swear I parked like halfway across the world. The parking lot was insane.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on here? And you get in there, and it's like you're like at Costco on a Saturday, just shoulder to shoulder with people. So I mean,
Yeah.
the hobby is alive in Toronto, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what's great to see was, yeah, there are a lot of the older vendors, but I would imagine, I don't, maybe Roy and DC can answer this, but I'd imagine it's a lot more expensive to set up a booth, as the years have been going on. So I did notice that, a lot of the older booths that were selling, small rinky-dink singles, obviously they weren't really around anymore. And I remember in past years, there was a lot of smaller collectors that kind of set up little booths. Obviously, they weren't really around. So the booths are really, I mean, their booths are really big. Like most people that were set up, even if they were just collectors and not actual dealers, they all had really, really big cards. So it did feel like a much bigger show. It did feel like, when you're looking at more modern cards, there were a lot more booths where you can see modern and things of interest if you're into the more modern side. And obviously on the hockey side and vintage, there's a lot of vintage as well. So yeah.
That's a good observation.
And this year I was targeting hockey. You guys know I've been trying to start this little limited logos collection, Upper Deck limited logos.
Mm-hmm.
So the hunt for limited logos, I thought there would have been a lot more there. It was a lot harder to find what I was looking for, and I actually didn't find exactly what I was looking for, but a couple of things caught my eye. So that hunt was really fun.
Well, you showed us a couple. Which ones did you get again?
Yeah, I got from Total Sports booth. I got the Zetterberg and a Jonathan Taves, Team Canada, which was nice.
Yeah, I was saying to you at the show, it's kind of like the Topps Dynasty, equivalent from the baseball perspective. The nice patch autograph, on-card autograph cards. Yeah, that's pretty sweet. And kind of like to your point earlier, the different booths having, just generally speaking, more like just big cards, not the rinky-dink cards, because the hobby is growing and maybe some of the smaller collectors are being priced out. But remember that booth that you showed us that had 0 decorations? It was pretty nondescript, and then you look in the case and you see like these high figure cards. It's like, oh
yeah,
this Mickey Mantle came out of nowhere.
I think booths have to do that.
I can't remember his name. It was just some dude with his own cards, and he had like Jordan, LeBron dual autos. He had like Kobe Topps Chrome refractor and a PSA 10, like just monstrous hundreds of thousands of dollars in cards, maybe even millions. And he's just sitting there by himself, nothing except him and like 2 cases of like the best monster cards you could find at the show. It's pretty wild.
No, I was saying, I think you have to go that route now. Like, I think people are realizing you can't be pushing, Topps Chrome base, Luis Roberts at the show. Like, you're going to have to be able to, because when I was talking to DC, he had a booth at Dolly's. Then Dolly's booth was bumping. Like, and they, like, if you look at the vendors beside, they were getting a lot more traction. But DC was the cards he pushes is, thousands and thousands of dollars. And that justifies, being around. If you do that with, $30 cards, it's not going to be worth, I guess, the time. And I think, we realized this back in the day when, we were all purchasing the lower end slabs, and we were like, okay, I don't think this is sustainable, because you're pushing all these low end cards for very minimal profit. So you got to add a 0 or 2, in that to justify it, right? So I feel like in general, people finally are getting that. So therefore, they're going to show off the big boys, and one transaction could totally pay off the booth's justification, right?
Sure.
So I feel like that's the only way to do it nowadays if you want to participate at like that level.
Yeah, at like big card shows like the Expo, the biggest in Canada, for sure. And like on the flip side, I think you're kind of alluding to it. There are still room for smaller collectors, but because there are a lot of other shows that go on throughout the year now, like smaller shows, like once a month, twice a month even. Yeah. HobbyCon, we got the founder of HobbyCon on the pod. And it's a perfect venue for those kind of collectors.
Right. And it makes so much sense, like what, CSC would do there too. So it's like utilizing your group to be able to set up shop and then kind of divvy it up that way so costs aren't as big. So it was pretty cool because when you go into the booth, you have CSC in the corner, but it's kind of like, I call it like I guess Pokemon land. Like it's like that little corner of hey, if you want to go, there's a bunch of good slabs there, for instance, right? Because it's a community.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
For sure. And our buddy Roy was right in the center of Pokemon land, right? So, it was really warm in that corner, though. It was pretty, I don't know.
It was cooking. It was cooking.
I don't know if it was like...
It was right beside the fried chicken and fries, that's why.
I think it was more body heat. There's so many people there. Pokemon market's still hot, and we'll have Roy and Will back on the pod, obviously, to talk about their experience. But speaking of DC, I asked him to come back on the pod, so he'll be on next week's episode, and he could tell us his experience as a dealer at the show. And yeah, it's been a while since we connected with him, so it'll be good to see what his perspective is on the hobby, even over the past several months, because it's been really cooking, right? So that's great. And for me, speaking of people we saw there, I think that was my highlight. Like I only bought, Topps basketball blaster, which I ripped just for fun. I got a Wemby base, which is $1 because they're printing those to the moon right now. but it's still a fun rip, and I have a hobby box to rip still, so I might do that later today.
Nice.
I'll let you guys know what I hit. But just running into a lot of guys. DC, the whole Cards to the Moon crew, that was awesome. Rob Wong, remember, he was a journalist. He actually covered the World Series, so he was at each of the home games and when our Jays were in the World Series. And so I asked him to come back on the pod as well. And kind of a teaser, like one of the things I want to explore is when your teams go on these amazing World Series runs, especially in Toronto, we felt it, and across Canada, people are looking for Jays cards. Like I overheard many vendors that had Jays cards, like people are paying full price right now for you, Savage. So I don't have to negotiate these cards. Yeah. So it's kind of cool to see all these Jays cards flying off now, the shells, so to speak. But,
yeah. For sure. No, and speaking of that, I had an Ernie Clement Real One Auto that I even forgot. Like I totally forgot because you don't realize it at the time.
Yeah.
And then you pull it out, and people want this card now, which is pretty ironic and funny. But no, I love it. I love it because collectability on Jay's memorabilia and sports cards, they received a huge uptick as well. Just the demand for it, people looking for, even Addison Barger. It was crazy at how much Addison, I didn't even know his cards existed, to be honest, because it would never cross my mind to get an Addison Barger rookie card. But then, I've seen some heat on Addison Barger, so I was impressed. I like it. Yeah.
How there's heat on Addison Barger. People are buying their Panini Prism unlicensed Addison Barger cards. Okay.
That's crazy. That's wild. When it's Will. I bet you it's Will.
Yeah. Will's one of them for sure. Come on. Even my buddies, like I have a couple friends, our 8-year-old sons have played baseball together, so we know each other that way. And they're like, yeah, hey, I heard you're going to the expo. My son wants an Addison Barger or wants like Ernie Clement
crazy
cards, and they're a lot of these kids, even my own kid, they're bandwagons, right? Jumpers, because the World Series, and then they stayed up late for Game 6 and 7. But it's amazing how it's connected. Baseball success with baseball card collectability. It's amazing.
For sure. They're future fans of baseball and future card collectors. So everything you're buying, Clark, you know where it's going.
That's right. All right.
Well, there was
go ahead.
Before we go on, there was another booth I mentioned to you guys, the golf booth.
I saw that.
So apparently the guy, he recognized my face. I feel so bad because I he's like, yeah, I've seen you at DC. You're friends with DC. I was like, oh, no way. So I think he knows DC really well. But Will Choi, the show opened at 4 p.m. on Thursday, and he was there at 3 because he got it early access through Roy. And he texted me. He goes, hey, check this out. There's a guy set up with only golf cards. It just says like a sign on the back, golf cards.
Yeah.
And he goes, this guy's got crazy Tiger Woods autos.
Oh, it's Mike.
And he must have had 30, maybe upwards of 50 Tiger Woods autos. And he also had a bunch of like 5 or 6 Michael Jordan golf autos. And Rory McIlroy, just a huge spread of awesome golf cards. And by the time I got there, I went there on Thursday. He had already sold 30. By Friday, now we're in, Thursdays, it was only open between 4 to 8 p.m. And by Friday, I got there at noon. And I remember thinking I wanted to make a play on one of the Tiger Woods cards. And I got there and I saw one. Well, the ones that I wanted sold out. So then I start to FOMO. I'm like, maybe I'll make a move on this one. Went to go find Will to talk to him to discuss whether I should make a move on it. Came back, gone.
Wow.
And his display case was completely empty. Like I think he ended up with like a couple of Tiger Woods autos. He must have sold almost all of them. So it's pretty crazy. Even something niche like golf, and obviously it's powered by Tiger Woods. But a couple of things, golf. That guy must have cleaned house. He probably went home with a suitcase full of cash.
Yeah.
And Tiger Woods. I mean, it should also be noted, of all the GOATs that are really moving right now, Tiger Woods is not really mentioned because he's not playing, he's injured, all of that stuff. But clearly, a lot of people are making some heavy moves on Tiger Woods, so something to watch out for.
Great point.
Not to get into open up a can of worms, but that just makes me think. It's like it makes sense in terms of Tiger Woods because he's like the GOAT, and what you've seen it across sports. You see, GOAT autos exploding. Yeah. So this is a food for thought, maybe for another episode. What happens? And I think we discussed this years ago, but what happens if institution money is coming in and stuff like all those things end up just being swiped away? Because if they're seeing this whole industry as a market, a legit marketplace, and it doesn't take much to move our market. Like, if you look at Tiger Woods auto, if somebody with $1 million, let's just say, can totally move that market. You see what I'm saying? So to me, it's like when that happens, what happens to the really rare card prices? And that's why, do you see that already from the, $1 million plus sales that we've seen? And that's what essentially it is. It's just new money just constantly driving this market to a place where we're like, oh, the card market is exploding, but really, is it institutional money or is it participation money? Is it a combination of both? I'm interested in that discussion for a future episode because I know right now is not the time. But John, you brought that up, so it reminded me of that.
You know what? Let's save it for a future episode because I got so many thoughts based on what you kind of introduced right now, and we actually talked about it a little bit with Will and Roy when Jason Mashara, the Upper Deck president, wrote this blog post about how it's really only the wealthy collectors driving the market right now. So it's kind of related to that. But I think we can definitely dig deeper because if that's the trend and if it continues, Jason Mashara's point was that he seems to be arguing that it can't sustain itself because those speculators, if they find something else that's shiny and new, they'll go there. And then everything else, like the sports car market, might see a collapse or at least a huge correction. But if we think that it's actually just the beginning of other rich people or institutions coming in to see sports cards as a legit asset class, then what, right? So I think that's a worthy discussion to have. I have my own thoughts, but we'll save it because it might be a 2-hour episode. Okay, let's move on to hobby headlines. All right, so if you haven't heard of Mantel, it's a website for hobbyists where they can share and post their collections, engage in different hobby issues, and it's kind of a blog site / forum. That's how I would explain what Mantel is. And I think one of the founders is the Reddit founder, Alexis Ohanian. So he's an investor in Mantel. I personally use it periodically. I sometimes forget that I have an account with them, but I know for some people, they're actively on it. They bill it as a positive space for the hobby. So it's not, if you want a negative space, go to Facebook or go to blowout forums. You can get that perspective there. But Mantel is trying to bill itself as a positive space for the hobby. Anyway, Mantel, they also launched its inaugural Hobby Awards, and you can currently vote online as of this recording. And I'll include the link below in the show notes. So for this episode, what I thought we could do is just go through some of the categories, and then let's each vote on who we would vote for. All right. So There's a bunch of categories. We won't go through each one of them. We won't go through every one of them, but there are a few that I thought would be interesting to see who we would vote for. All right. Let's start with Best Auction House. And there are 8 nominees: Alt, Fanatics Collect, Golden, Heritage Auctions, Pristine Auction, The Realist, REA, and Sotheby's.
Man, these are difficult because if you don't have personal experience, I feel like you're not giving them a fair shake. So, and with that said, that's just a disclaimer.
Yeah.
So
disclaimer.
anybody listening to this that's representing one of those brands and we don't pick them, it might be because we're ignorant and we've, haven't either heard of you or, I'm pretty sure we've heard of you, but we just haven't had that experience, right? So, but for me, I had a really bad experience with Golden and a good experience with Golden. So, like, just based on personal experience, I'd be open to using them again. So they're the only ones I really used. But I feel like from a brand perspective, they separated themselves from everybody on the list in terms of what they're doing from a marketing standpoint. Obviously, every company has their ups and downs with, the logistics and the way they operate. But I got to say, from a brand perspective, I think Golden has done a phenomenal job just putting themselves out here and, give kudos to Ken Golden for being that face. But I think I'm going to say Golden. To me, they're still the number one kind of auction house in my eyes in terms of if I'm going to send something, it just comes up to mind first. Right. Yeah. And like places like Heritage Auction does kind of pop up, but I would say from a branding perspective, that's what really captures me is who is the first. So I'm going to say Golden wins this one.
How about you, John?
I'm not too sure. Again, I think most of this list, we don't participate, so it's hard for us to really have opinion. I mean, to be honest, I haven't even used Fanatics Collect yet. Okay. And so I can't say if it's good or it's bad. So I think, my vote would also, I guess, go to Golden because I don't know. Because I think Golden also had its moment. Like it was in the spotlight a couple of years ago and they were kind of featured on the Netflix. Yeah. So it had its moment, but I think a lot of other groups have kind of caught up, maybe offering better percentages or whatever. There's a reason why others caught up. So I don't know. I think I don't have an opinion.
It's tough. It's tough.
It is tough. Yeah. It is tough because there's another category, and I was thinking like, shouldn't eBay be on this? But there is another category that's best marketplace. So they're making a distinction between marketplace and auction house. But the thing is, under best marketplace, you could also find Fanatics Collect. So I think this is why there might be some confusion. And for John, he's going to spoil his ballot by not voting. So that's fine, right? For the best auction house. But I think from a brand perspective, I'm going to go with Golden as well. But yeah, when I go through, maybe this is because it's the inaugural Hobby Awards by Mantel. I don't know if they can consolidate some of these things. So I'm not going to ask you to vote for best marketplace, but I'll tell you what the nominees are. Alt is again in it. Fanatics Collect again. eBay's in this one. And then you have nominees like ComC, Collects, CallX, My Card Post. We had his founder on this podcast before, and TCG Player. So I think a lot of it depends on what you collect as well, right? If you're a Pokemon collector, you might just automatically vote TCG Player or eBay because that's what you're familiar with. And even with Auction House, Golden, it's more modern cards, and sells a mix of modern and vintage, and that's the cards we like to look at. Where Heritage Auction, high end vintage, that's what you're collecting, you might have vote for Heritage. So that's how you might vote.
And I see it differently. I could see why, because I think auction houses are totally different. Like I wouldn't categorize eBay as same as Golden because they're two totally different brands that kind of specialize in different niches. And I think eBay does run auctions, but I wouldn't call them an auction house where, I value eBay because of the marketplace, because the reach it has, where I could list my own item. I could be able to, navigate through myself. I don't have to get a third party to kind of sell my product. And I think that's where, for me, in terms of marketplace, eBay's still number one. Like it's weird. Like anytime I look for cards, that's the standard. And then you could say whatever you want, but I think what these bigger brands like Golden and, eBay does so well is they brand themselves so well that that's the top of mind. And then included in that, it must have usability, the ease of usability. Yes. So whether it's eBay app, like I know I'm a huge user of the eBay app, just searching comps. I still do it the old way. I don't use a different app where I could just scan it. I'm still going manual eBay, sold, completed items, using 130 point. Like for me, eBay is still kind of like the winner when it comes to marketplace because that's the one I use. I think they bring so much value and ease in terms of what I need. So I'm going to go with eBay on the marketplace.
I think, I'm eBay all the way too for all those reasons. And I think it might be a clean sweep. But I just wanted to make that distinction. It might be harder for others to figure it out, but I like how you explained how you see auction houses versus marketplace. So that's a good one. I want to go to the next one. Best collectible show. And obviously this is something that might, if you haven't gone to any of these shows, it might be hard for you to vote on. But from what you've seen online, if you haven't, or what you've heard in terms of testimonials from others who have gone to these shows, I'm curious to see what you say. So the nominees are Dallas Card Show, Fanatics Fest, New York City, the National, Sport Card Expo is in this one, and West Coast Card Show, formerly known as the Burbank Show.
Yeah, this one again is a little tough just because, you got to have experience, and I don't want to, I haven't been to the Dallas Card Show, National, or the West Coast Card Show, so it's hard to kind of put a label. But I would say, based on my attendance at Fanatics Fest and Sport Card Expo, I would look forward to the other three I haven't gone to, and I'm gonna go with that one of those because I feel like catering to my likes in the hobby. I'm a big baseball guy, and for me, I don't get that at Sport Card Expo. I don't get that at Fanatics Fest. I could see myself getting that at the National. I could see myself getting that at the West Coast Card Show, but maybe not as much. So I would say for me, the Dallas Card Show or the National might make most sense in terms of nomination, even though I haven't been to either. But I'm still going to go with the National just because, like I said, the branding does count. If there's one event that I had to choose, it would be the National, but for the reason that it would cater to my baseball liking. So very, very biased on my behalf, but yeah, that's where I'm going.
That's okay. Yeah.
I'm not even more of a bias. It's actually really cool to see the Sport Card Expo on this list. I've only been to the one show. I've only been to Sport Card Expo, so I have to pick it. But I will say, obviously, I'd love to go to the National. I probably, if you were to ask me of these, you get to pick one. I'd probably want to go to the National first and foremost in terms of my next new experience over the Fanatics Fest.
Yeah.
And I mean, based on what I see on on social media, I've heard amazing things about the Dallas Card Show.
Mm-hmm.
Some may even say that's the best of the group. So I wouldn't actually be surprised ultimately if the winner here ends up being something like Dallas Card Show. It
Mm.
wouldn't really surprise me. But yeah, I would obviously pick mine based on bias. But yeah.
Yeah, that's a great point about Dallas Card Show. Like a show that's more regional, getting this kind of notoriety says something, right? And that people will fly out to go to the Dallas Card Show says something. So I think it's well deserved in terms of a nomination. But I'm going to go with the National. I've been to National, I've been to Fanatics Fest, and I've been to Sport Card Expo. So those are my 3 experiences. But yeah, the National is just, it kind of lives up to its billing, just being the large card show. You know, you hear it all the time, but it's cliche kind of. But when you're there, you realize that the extent of how big it is and just the different offerings. And yeah, baseball is predominant. So I'm biased in that sense too. I'm looking for baseball cards. So the National gets my vote. Although, you know, if I'm going to take the hometown bias, Sport Card Expo is a close second. And Fanatics Fest, you know, the argument against it, it's not 100% a collectible show. It's sports, geared towards sports fans as well. So that's probably one knock on it. But even that, it's a great experience, right? So well-deserved nominations. All right, I like this one because it's a little different, but the category is Best Sports Card Product. All right, so the nominees are the 2024 Topps Chrome Update, which introduced the MLB debut patch. Okay, the Upper Deck, the Cup, which has the super high-end rookie patch autos for hockey card collectors. You got your NFL National Treasures. Again, the super high-end rookie patch autos for football card collectors. WNBA Rookie Royalty, introduced this year. The Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese cards in those products. And rounding off the top 5, the Shohei Topps 50/50 commemoration box, where you could have got the 3, I believe it was 3 patch autograph cards during that magical 50/50 season. What do you say?
Yeah, there might be a little bias here from me, just because I'm a baseball head, but like, I like the cup. I like what they did with the cup, and it has the high end feel to it. I think everybody in the hockey market kind of knows, and it's branded that way. And obviously NT's, you know, been doing their thing with being the best, the flagship of, you know, sports cards in basketball and football for the last, you know, however many years. So there's like the 50/50 is an amazing set too, where I'm mind boggled at how successful it was, but it makes sense because of the Ohtani hype. So, but the problem is, like, I wouldn't say it's the best sports card product, because I think it's more of a fad. Mm-hmm. But it was super successful. And there's some monster cards that I think are going to age really well from that set. So I do like that. But I got to give it to Topps Chrome Update, just because where they were as a brand. Right. Because Topps Chrome Update was sticker autos. You didn't want it because there's not true color parallels. You know, you get the second variation of rookies. And then the only reason why it brought value was because if you had a late call up that didn't make Series 2, that was the chase. So guys like Juan Soto, you know, who wasn't in Series 1, Series 2, all of a sudden becomes a huge chase. So that was the only upside of Topps Chrome Update before. So for them to be there, and then Fanatics take over and then introduce the MLB debut patch, which is super hard to do, saying, we're going to release a new staple that's going to replace the superfractor. And that's where we're saying, oh, when will it ever take precedence over a Bowman Chrome superfractor? Whether that's the case or not, I think it's pretty equal what people would seek as kind of like the number one in baseball. And I would say MLB debut patch is the reason. So for all that, and obviously, you know, the upgrades that, you know, just Fanatics have placed in the Topps Chrome product, I think that would or should win product of the year. It went from such an uncool product to an amazing product, and to the point where we're waiting at 12 p.m. to buy Topps Chrome Update, and I know I'm in. I'm down.
Yeah.
So
that's exactly right.
Yeah. I mean, the concept of the debut patch, some may not call it super innovative, but regardless, it's a great move, and it was brilliant on Topps' part because they knew Topps Chrome was going to sell regardless. Like their flagship Topps Chrome, whatever they put in, they could have easily put the debut patch into Topps Chrome. Like it didn't have to go into update, but I think it was a very smart move because they knew Topps Chrome were going to sell anyways, and they knew they probably don't want to print it to the moon and have all these collectors complaining about the 9,000 different refractors and all that, parallels and all that stuff. So they put it into the update product, which probably wasn't selling as well, unless, like Hyung mentioned, there is a rookie that kind of came late to the stage during the middle of the year. So brilliant move on their half. They made update completely relevant. I think based on the innovation of the debut patch, this is probably going to be the winner. But my pick, it's a little bit biased and less about innovation, is going to be the Cup. I'm going to give hockey some love. And one thing about Upper Deck, they get clowned on a lot for just not kind of keeping up with like the hobby standards. But I will give Upper Deck a lot of love because as I've been chasing limited logos, the one thing that you kind of notice in Upper Deck, in all of their main sets, limited logos, rookie patch auto, and NHL Shield, it's always on card for the most part. There have been a handful of like sticker autos, but it's like 99% on card and it's all game used. It's none of this Panini. Panini used to even have like event worn, but now it's become not associated with any event, game or whatnot, right? So I give credit to Upper Deck in that sense, is that they've been consistent in getting all of their products game used, game worn, and on-card autos, giving the collectors exactly what they want out of a premium product year in and year out. So my vote goes to Upper Deck.
Yeah, there you go, Upper Deck. Shout out from John for the Cup product. I'm glad you gave them a bit of spotlight. Especially, we have to balance it out. If we look at all the stuff we said about Upper Deck, it's probably mostly negative. But we'll give credit where it's due. For me, it's easy. I don't have to go too much into it because Hyung already gave all the talking points. The Topps Chrome update, just with the invention of the MLB debut patch, it was a game changer, so to speak. So yeah, I'm going with Topps Chrome update. Let's do one more, and then I'm going to highlight some of the interesting other categories that we don't have to discuss. But let's do one more to discuss together, and it's best hobby shop. All right. So you got AA Mint Cards. I've seen their social media handles, so they're active on Instagram. Bleaker Trading, Burbank Sports Cards, Cards HQ, Card Vault by Tom Brady, Grand Slam Collectibles, Lucky 7 Cards and Collectibles, RoadshowCards.com, and Mint Inc. makes the category. Yeah, there you go. Canada represent. So what do you guys think?
Hey, before anything, like nothing but respect to all these, brands, whether you like,
Sure.
the brand or not. I think, in a time of chaos with our marketplace, these guys have been kind of like the retail leaders of, taking that step. And it was fun to even watch, Mint Inc. in our own hometown, John taking that and growing that, as well. So, shout out to all the owners. Chris Costa, we talked about on our show. We had him on our show. For him to line up with Tom Brady, I think is incredible. And then obviously Jeff Wilson kind of, doing his thing with, and I'll tell you what, Jeff Wilson, one thing that I know success doesn't come because you just hit and you're fluke. Success comes to those who are. And to me, the amount of hate that guy gets, but at the same time, he pushes through so much and he's growing and and to me, that's resilience. When you see someone and you see a guy like Jeff Wilson, I'm just saying, whether you like his takes or not, I see a successful guy when I see him because he the amount of hate that guy gets is incredible. So him doing his things with Cards HQ and him growing at the same time, you know, I see his story and nothing but respect. But in this whole group of, you know, nominees, I'm going to go with Card Vault. I'm so baffled at, you know, where I seen Costa take this brand, and for him to be, you know, able to align with with Tom Brady is crazy, because that's one of the biggest names in sports, and relevant names, not past names. So for me to have him in the hobby, it does so much justice to the hobby itself just by having Tom Brady in it. So I think the impact he's had, and you know, the stores itself look amazing. Just it's not like just put together in the last minute. This was well thought of, a lot of high end stuff there. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Card Vault with Chris Costa.
Nice, good choice.
It's really cool to see our local card shop Mint Ink on there. They are 100% getting my vote. There's no question. It's gonna be biased, I admit, but how can I not pick Mint Ink? Like, shout out Mint Ink. That's awesome. But if I'm gonna pick, you know, somebody that's gonna who I think is gonna win here, you know, like the Jeff Wilson hate is so unwarranted. I don't understand. Like, I get it early on when people kind of thought he's like this sort of like sleazy businessman that's trying to like make money in the hobby. But I don't know. I feel like he's time and time proven again that he's collector. He loves sports. He loves the hobby. Yes, he's trying to make money off of the hobby, which I think everyone is trying to do. But yeah, I think his shop opening up is a big one. Like, who wouldn't want to visit that shop? It looks like the Best Buy of like sports cards. It looks like a great experience. So I think that's a good one. But I mean, what Chris Costa has done with Card Vaults and like teaming up with Tom Brady and like the quick expansion work he's doing, I mean, I would imagine Card Vault is going to take the win here. But yeah, my vote, local. It's Mint Ink all the way.
Sweet. I voted for. I'll tell you who I voted for. I voted for Mint Ink for that reason as well, just to rep Canada. But I can't deny everything you guys already mentioned about what Chris Costa has done with his team. Card Vault by Tom Brady, just expansion, amazing stuff. I also want to give a shout out to Bleecker Trading. You know, they're a small card shop, but so many people know who they are. And if you're in New York City, you're going to Bleecker Trading. They do some awesome trade nights. You know, they're known for that as well. When Fanatics Fest was happening, Bleecker Trading was where it's at for a lot of people. And I think, you know, some athletes have gone there as well to break after hours. So shout out to Bleecker Trading and to all the other nominations. They've really become destination points for the hobby. If you're in that city, if you're in Atlanta, you're going to Cards HQ if you're a collector. You got to check it out. You know what I mean? Same thing with Burbank. You know, you're going to go check out Burbank if you're in that region of California. So, you know, everything being online these days, it's amazing what these shop owners are able to do with their physical bricks and mortar store. So kudos to all of them. All right. Like I said, I want to kind of go over some of the categories and you know, one thing that I mentioned, or one thing that I noticed, was David Adams not nominated for some reason on this. So I guess the size of the hobby shop doesn't matter as much.
Yeah, that's kind of surprising, actually.
So that's a notable miss. And another notable miss in another category is Grading Company of the Year. Guess who didn't get nominated?
BGS.
BGS didn't get nominated.
Oh, BGS.
What?
That's like kicking them while they're down, isn't it?
Yeah. That is like
you gotta put Beckett in there. Come on,
they have to be in there. That is
so
ridiculous.
You got PSA, you got SGC, which is arguable now because that's going in the tank. CGC cards, okay, that's deserves to be there. Tag, I'll go there, and C3 grading. Like I don't know much about C3 grading, but I think Beckett needs to be in there.
Yeah, you need to give Beckett some love there.
Yeah, I know we go hard on Beckett sometimes, but we still love Beckett at the same time. We go hard because we love them. You know what I mean? And to wrap up this segment, best media platform: Collect, Prospects Live, Sports Card Investor, Sports Card Nonsense, and Trove. I mean, the glaring
interesting.
Notable absence there is Cards to the Moon. I
think where's I was gonna say, where's the podcast?
Let's go, man. Come on. So I'm gonna write I wonder if I could do a write-in ballot and then write our name, vote for ourselves on this category. But anyway, wanted to bring that up. There are about 7 or 8 other categories we didn't even touch on, and so again, I'll include the links, and then go vote. I would love to see what the results are at the end of the voting period.
I will add this, Clark. I want to just say, I know we don't talk about prospecting a lot, but Prospect Live. If you're into prospecting, that is the number one source you guys should be going to. I think they do a phenomenal job breaking down each product, what the upside is, and it's not saying that they're always 100% right. I just like their framework that they have, and they know what they're talking about. So for me, I just want to shout out them because I personally visit them often and usually agree with their takes. And I think, we don't talk about a lot on this show, prospecting. So if you're into baseball prospecting, I think that's a site you should definitely go check out.
There you go. Kudos to Prospects Live. All right. Okay. Let's move on to our next segment. It is Over Under. I'm going to keep this really short because we're actually on a time limit because we want to buy that Topps Chrome update boxes when it drops. We're recording right before noon. So I'm going to give you 3 cards total this time, all right? And the theme of this over-under is Shohei cards. We did it before. I'm going to do it again because, Ohtani is the market is crazy still. And the number here is 10,000, all right? And the twist here is these are not your most popular Shohei cards. I'm not going to say Topps Chrome Rookie Auto or Bowman Chrome Rookie Auto. These are like lesser known cards, and I want to see if you guys would think it's going over or under 10K. First one, the 2025 Topps Welcome to the Club 3-time MVP Foil Fractor. And it is a 1 of 1 because it is a foil fractor. BGS 9.5. Do you think that kind of card would sell for more or over or under 10K?
Oh, man. And it's a super fractor or sorry, it's an
foil,
auto or
foil
no auto?
Fractor. No auto.
No auto. What was the brand? What's the brand?
What's a foil fractor? Does that take place in place of platinum?
I guess it's a 1 of 1. Yeah, so
it's a different variation of a 1 of 1.
Or is it another new 1 of 1? Okay.
No, it's been around. Foil fractor's been around. Usually like paper.
It's more for paper, yes.
Yeah.
I don't remember it being a 1 of 1 though, but yeah.
I'd rather have a foil fractor than platinum any day, and I know people would agree.
100%.
We always talk about this, but I'm going to say under.
Okay.
It should not. It clearly should be under. That's wild. That we're talking about $10,000 right now on a 2025 1 of 1, but I'm gonna go over because that's how wild the market is and stupid.
You're right. The market is wild and stupid, but it's not that wild and stupid. It's 5,400
yet.
Okay,
it's still $5,400, which is kind of wild still, but not.
It is,
super wild. Okay, so all right, second one. We talked about this set in the previous segment, the Topps Chrome 50/50 or the Topps 50/50 Ohtani set, and from that set, there's the 2024 Topps Chrome 1 of 1. And it is a BGS 9. And the card because there's a super fractor for each stolen base and each home run in that set. This is stolen base number 49. So BGS 9, the super fractor of that card. No auto.
That's a stolen base or home run?
Stolen base. His 49th stolen base, apparently. Yeah.
I'm going to say under. I'm just going to say under because I don't feel like that one's relevant. You know what I mean? It's like, if it was the 50th one, then I could justify it. But 49th seems a little weird to me. But like I said, the 50th could be 50K. I don't know. I don't know that market, right? So it might be cheap. So that's where I'm confused. But I'm going to say under just based on, it is a super fractor though. So, but it is stolen base. So I'm going to say under.
Okay.
Wait, hang on. Do they have superfractors for all of the stolen bases?
All the stolen
1
bases
through 50?
and
Yeah.
home runs.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
But it's an auto.
What's this?
No, non-auto.
Oh, non-auto. Yeah, under.
Okay.
I don't know what the significance of 40. No, that's wild. No, like the last one, I made a kind of a tongue in cheek or comment about going over 10,000. It's got to be under. That's too crazy.
We should rename this segment "How Wild is the Shohei Card Market?"
Yeah, exactly.
It's under. You got it. 7,200 for that card.
Oh, God.
If it's a BGS 9.5, that could very well be over a 10K card.
Right.
So the grade might have played a factor in that. All right, I got one more for you. The 2019 Topps Archive Signature Series buyback of Ohtani 1 of 1, graded BGS 9.5, 10 auto.
I'm going to say over. I know that I have a good idea that this is over. Not because I've seen it or anything, but I just see, I always thought those archive 101s were kind of overrated.
Yes.
Because it's not the true like rookie, but then they sell. People eat them up and they treat them like 1 of 1s. And I don't agree, but I'm going to say the market agrees. So I'm going to say it's over. It is an auto too. So
I think archive 1 of 1s are wildly overrated. I don't like them at all. It's kind of like the white box.
Yeah.
The basketball white box 1 of 1. Kind
Good
of
comp.
it's like super manufactured 1 of 1.
Yes.
Just stamp it 1 of 1 and here you go. So I would never spend my money on that card. So I'm going under. I hope the market agrees.
Someone paid 10,500 for that card. So it's over.
Oh man.
Yeah, that was interesting. I'm aligned with you guys. I'm not a huge fan of the archive buyback 1 of 1 cards, but it is what it is. I was gonna if we had more time, I was gonna ask you if you think 2018 National Treasures Gold rookie patch auto number to 49 BGS 9 is over or under 10K, but that is over 11,700, probably because it's his rookie. It is non-licensed. We could get into that debate again, but I would rather pay that much, 11,000, than a 1 of 1 Topps archive for a
as crazy as that sounds. I agree. And Ohtani's the only guy that can. It's the Ohtani rule.
100% the Ohtani rule. All right, let's finish off this episode with our regular weekly segment we call Pick One. And we're only gonna do yours, Hyung and John, and then we'll wrap up the show.
We're serious
so,
about this Topps Chrome update. I'm going to talk fast.
Let's do
okay,
it. Come on.
So we got Wemby versus Aaron Judge. Okay.
Yeah.
We got 2017 Topps Chrome Aaron Judge refractor, PSA 10.
Yep.
Okay. It's gone down. It's last sold for $550. Okay. So just a refractor Topps Chrome rookie. All right. Yep. $550. Would you rather invest in that or a 2023 Panini Prism Victor Wembanyama Ice PSA 10?
Mm-hmm.
And it last sold for $640. Where's the best ROI going? Are you going with Judge in the offseason or Wemby while he's hot?
Is his rookie Panini Prism?
Panini Prism, the true rookie of Wemby.
Prism.
Yeah, ice. So it's like ice. That cracked ice look. It looks like Atomic in baseball.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be quick. It's going to be at Wemby. That's an easy one. As much as on the baseball side, there's a lot of argument for a Judge in general. I think he's kind of surpassed the playoff criticism and can he continue to repeat hitting bombs year in and year out? He's clearly doing all of that. So Aaron Judge is a great buy, but Wemby is, whether it's going to happen this year, next, or in the next 5 years, he is on that sort of Ohtani spectrum of generational talent. He would be what is considered the Ohtani of basketball. So the hype is there. I think it's well deserved outside of him getting a major injury. So it's Wemby all the way. His cards, I think, is going to do really well.
And just to put it out there, the Wemby is double the pop of the Judge refractor. I don't know if that would make a difference. So 2,300 pop on the Wemby, 1,200 pop on the refractor of Aaron Judge.
Yeah. I mean, you've already kind of said why I probably wouldn't go for the Wemby. The pop count. There's so many different parallels of Wemby, especially in his rookie year. And Ice is, it looks nice, but it's one of many parallels. And I don't know if it's even cracks the top 10, to tell you the truth. Whereas Topps Chrome Refractor is classic, it's obviously better than base. And I know Refractor isn't numbered either, but Aaron Judge, that 2017 year, I think that image is becoming more iconic, although I don't like it personally. The one where he's leaping for that pop fly.
Yeah. But it's iconic. It's weirdly iconic.
Why are you leaping? You're 7 feet tall. I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to go with Aaron Judge in this case.
Oh, interesting. I think for me, if I want a quicker flip, I would look into Wemby because John's right. I think he can be the next Ohtani. And I've been looking at Wemby, and I believe the 2023 Prism is the card, in my opinion. I think that's, if I'm buying Wemby, I'm staying with 2023 Prism. I think that has the highest upside. I'm going to try getting into a numbered. The Ice has so much eye appeal, I think. I think it'll do really well in terms of selling it when the market's hot. So I think if you want a quick flip, Wemby's the answer. But for me, I'm buying based on price too. So I think Judge going down to $500-$400. I think there's room for it, but you're buying somewhat high because that refractor was like $200, $150 like just a year ago. So Judge's price is high as well, but I think it's deservingly so. I think he's going to keep on continuing to rake and hit bombs, and he's so underrated still. And we had previous episodes that, discussed this. So I'm going to go with Judge refractor in this case because every time I chase on things that don't excite me, it usually bites me in the ass. So this is the case where, I'm all for Wemby and I want a big Wemby, but I think in this case, I'm going to stay with the refractor Judge. I think it's the better buy.
Yes, Judge wins this round. All right, Johnny, 2-minute countdown.
Yep. So we're gonna stick to Shohei.
Yep.
I know, like when you're searching for Shohei, Clark, you mentioned you're kind of interested in getting the dual autos. So in the long run, and many of these don't exist yet, but hopefully in the future they will. Would you rather Ohtani dual auto with one of his teammates? So it could be Ohtani Mookie, it could be Ohtani Yamamoto, which I believe there is a Topps now for that.
Yep.
Which is probably crazy. Would you rather that or Ohtani and a legend? Like Ohtani Griffey, Ohtani Mike Trout. Long term, which dual Ohtani would you rather have?
Easy. Ohtani legend. I think that's the safest. If I was like a hometown collector, like a Dodgers fan, obviously that might, there might be bias there. But I always look. I think the Ohtani Trout, some of those cards are undervalued, to tell you the truth. Just because of Trout that's hard to believe. Just because of Trout is being undervalued. So I think that's a legit play.
Man, I normally I think I would say Ohtani and legend too. Because I agree. Like I like the Ohtani Acuna combo, or I wouldn't say Acuna is a legend yet,
or
like Acuna
Ohtani Ichiro.
Ichiro, yeah. I like those, but I feel like the Yamamoto can hit. Like that card is like hot. Like if you're to, sell that this spring, I think you would maximize your gains off that particular card versus an Ohtani and a legend like a Hank Aaron or even Nolan Ryan, let's just say. So I like the Yamamoto upside just because Yamamoto is very hot right now. I think his rookie autos are super hot. I think that's going to carry into next year. So I'm going to go actually with the Yamamoto Ohtani right now.
There you go. Wow. Tiebreaker.
Yeah, this is a tough one because in baseball right now, I mean, it looks like Dodgers going to make like a dynasty run. And clearly they're going to take advantage of like the Mookie, Ohtani, Yamamoto, like in their prime years. So they're just going to keep spending to the moon. So I think Dodgers are about to make that run. So I think normally I would also pick the legends, but in the next even 5 years, like we might be seeing 4 Dodgers championships. So to have Ohtani synonymous with one of his famous teammates like Mookie or Yamamoto, I think it's going to do insanely well money wise. So going against my better judgment, I actually was originally with Clark on this, and then as Hyung was talking, I was like, okay, maybe I will go with the Dodgers blue. So Hate to do it, but yeah, that's going to be my pick.
The fatal flaw in that argument is that the Jays are winning the World Series next year. So I'm just saying, I called it on November 10th, Monday, 2025. All right, we got a little bit of time to spare before we buy our Top Scrum update. So thank you for spending time with us on this pod, and we'll have a brand new episode for you guys next week. Talk to you then. Bye. Hey, thanks for listening to Cards to the Moon. We'd really appreciate you subscribing to our podcast wherever you listen to your podcasts. And you can also connect with each of us on Instagram at 5cardguys, or you can follow Hyung at Integrity Sports Cards, or John at TradeU at Recess. You can also check us out at 5cardguys.com. Thanks again, and hope to connect soon.